right. Hello. I am Jane Carter from Jane Carter Coaching, where I help soulful solopreneurs and deep feelers and deep thinkers have more fun and money and freedom in their business. And I am really excited today to have Laura Belgray with me for a brain trust conversation. And a brain trust is kind of your board of advisors. It's the people who've advised you and helped you and nurtured you. And Laura is one of those people for me. And I love the idea of her being part of your brain trust. So I'm going to pick her brain here so that you can learn from her. Laura is one of my favorite authors. Tough Titties is my top gifted book from last year. And it's coming out in paperbacks.
Paperback. It is.
Yay,
Yes.
it's so exciting. And she's a copywriting dynamo. She's founded multiple courses. She founded the Copy Cure with Marie Forleo. And she's just all around an amazing human to know. So is there anything that I've left? I mean, obviously there's a lot more to say about you, but anything you want people to know about you before we dive in?
I think you covered it, I wasn't listening that carefully, but they should definitely come by. You'll probably say this at the end, but come by talkingshrimp.com
Yes, Thunder
to
Talking.
learn all about me. And my specialty, I'm known for copywriting. My overall umbrella mission is helping entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, all those people ending in preneur, find the words and the chutzpah to make their business a total expression of their personality, because that's how you are getting paid to be you, which to me is the holy grail of work. But my specialty in copywriting is email. I am an email nut. I love writing emails that tell great stories and sell. And that's basically the career I've created, is writing emails for a living.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not writing books.
Yeah.
The one book I've written so far.
Let's dig in. So one of the questions I love to ask people is, because you're working with a lot of preneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. As you're working with people, is there anything you keep seeing where people think they're doing the right thing, but they're getting it wrong? They're actually shooting themselves in the foot, where you're like, you want to take them by the shoulders and just like, duh, stop doing that.
Yes. Number one, I would have to say, is not selling, being afraid to sell, saying, especially when it comes to their emails, anyone ending in preneur should have an email list and be emailing them. And I find that so many, especially the ones who consider themselves heart-centered, don't want to sell or want to wait forever to sell to their list, to sell in their emails, because they're like, I'm still nurturing them. Nobody likes to be sold to. I'm trying to deliver value before I sell. Oh, it would be like asking someone to marry you on the first date if I sell in my first email. None of that is true. People do love to be sold to, actually, as long as it's something they're interested in buying. If it's something you're not interested in, then they feel like it's being pushed on them, and they're not. But you should know what your people are interested in. What the thing that you're selling should relate to the reason they came to you, and remember that people love buying things. I was actually just on the phone on a Zoom with my friend Matthew Kimberly, who's a fantastic salesperson and just a delightful person all around. And I told them that I was about something that I was selling right now, a course called Unputdownable, and just like cranking out some emails for it today. And he said, yes, he said, people love buying things, don't they? And I said, yeah, they do. Say more. And he's like, we love buying things. It's how we express our values. And I was like, ooh, that just felt so good to hear. It's a good thing to remind yourself. If you're afraid to sell to people, they actually enjoy buying. Think how often you take out your credit card because it just makes you feel good, because you want something, and purchasing it is like, yay.
It feels so good. I was telling someone I bought a new refrigerator the other day, and I was like, I just want to stay home and make out with it. It's just so beautiful. And it felt so good to do that thing for myself. And yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have a crush on your refrigerator. That's such a nice feeling.
I want to write it love letters every day. I just open it and look at it and close it. And it's so clean. So yeah. But you're right. I love
Exactly.
that it's an expression of values, and it is fun to buy. It really is. I've always had so much fun buying your courses where I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna learn something. I can't wait." It's so fun to learn, you know?
Exactly, exactly. So if you sell courses that, that remember that people are excited to learn from you. If you
Yeah.
sell something else, like the reason they found you, sell
Mhm.
it to them.
Mhm.
Like, don't deny them that pleasure. They'll buy something from somebody else instead.
Yeah. Yeah. They get that little dopamine squirt, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
I love that. That's such a great that is one mistake that yeah, I haven't heard that articulated so clearly in quite a while. So I love that. And speaking of mistakes, and I mean, I know it's funny. I was going to say, like, what are some mistakes that you've made or learned from that you wish you could go back and talk to your younger self? You literally wrote a whole book about that. Um,
Yeah.
so y'all buy the book. But when it comes to being an entrepreneur and making money for being you, the making money for doing the things that you do, if you could go back, what are some things you wish you could say to your like baby entrepreneur self? And again,
Yeah.
no, again, I was like philosophically, we know, well, we had to make the mistakes to learn them, and we
Mhm.
wouldn't get here had we not been through that. But man, if you could skip some of the pain, what would you want to know?
Yeah. I would probably tell myself the same thing that I just said. It's like,
Mhm.
don't wait to sell people things, to make them offers. And you are capable of creating new things to offer them. I thought for so long that I didn't have anything of my own to offer, that I couldn't, I, I was offering services as a copywriter and people were taking me up on that. But I hadn't created any courses of my own, any mini courses, anything that I could just offer in an email, and everybody loved my emails and my blog posts, and I could have been using those to sell for so long. I also There's just a lot that I didn't do because I didn't want to deal with it or didn't think I was capable
Yeah.
of, and I mean, it was really a make hay while the sun shines kind of opportunity.
Mhm.
Like the internet, the online business scene was the Wild West, and ads were cheap as dirt.
Mhm.
And yet I didn't want to spend on them. I didn't want to spend dirt, because I didn't realize how cheap they were, what an opportunity there was to build my list. But
Mhm.
I could have built it, but I don't know, hundreds of thousands just running ads,
Yeah.
um, and spending a little bit of dirt. And so I avoided a lot of opportunity. And I guess the question is, what am I not doing now that I should be doing before the rules change or before
Right.
everything changes? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if something's working for people, I know everyone's like, just because something works for everyone else doesn't mean it'll work for you. Don't buy into that. Don't write yourself off as someone it won't work for before you try it at least. If
Yeah.
something is working really well and a friend says you should try this, like you have a friend generous enough to say this is working really well for me, you should do it too, try it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've always appreciated the slap shit up kind of hashtag within Shrimp Club, like that you really
Yes.
have helped encourage me. I mean, I'm still a slow mover, but you've encouraged me and others to just like just take action, just try it, just put it out there, see what happens,
Yep.
you know?
Right, exactly. And if you don't overthink it or put that much into it to make it perfect, then it's not that big a risk.
Mhm.
Like, don't,
Mhm.
I'm not saying sink all your money into something that you hope will work. I'm saying, yeah, hashtag slap shit up,
Yeah.
take imperfect action, and you might be really surprised by what works.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Have there been kind of moments along the way where the light bulb came on or you turned that corner where either from like a favorite failure or from a really great success or just something someone said that kind of turned on the light bulb when it comes
Yes.
like, to that
Um,
or the business itself?
yeah. For one thing, my friend Susie Moore, when I first met her, this was in, I think, 2017.
Mhm.
She was encouraging me to do what she was doing, which was pitching to the media, pitching stories to the media that would drive people to her. You know, she could include a link and drive them to her list. And she kept pointing out all these blog posts that I had on my site. And she said, she told me this parable of some miser who buried his gold in the yard so that nobody could enjoy it. And she was like, you're burying all your gold.
Mm,
And so she was like, pitch it to the media, at least put it on Medium where people can find it and find you. There's no way for them to find these things except for your audience that already exists. So that was a real aha moment. She really pointed out to me how I was burying my gold.
yeah.
And also, I had a moment where I may have told you this story before. I used to take this dance class that I was obsessed with. The teacher's name was Sibo. He was fantastic. It's house dance. And I was standing outside the room waiting for our class to start with a friend in the class named Georgia, who was a Pilates instructor, also the most fantastic dancer in the class. Like, whenever she messed up, she'd always be like, ah! And I was like, why are you pointing out that you messed up? Like, she's just so good. And I said to her, oh, I saw your Pilates videos on Instagram, those stories. I loved them. And she was like, ugh. And I was like, what's ugh? And she said, oh, I just hate being all like, look at me, look at me. And I said to her, I was like, but that inspires people. When you post those stories of you doing those moves so beautifully and telling them about your class, it inspires them to take your class. And if you didn't, it would deny them the chance to find you, to be inspired by you, to try your class. And so it's like a service to them. And also, think about if Sibo, our teacher, never posted any videos of himself dancing or didn't want to show off and said, I don't want to be all look at me, look at me. You would probably never have found him. You would probably never have come to this class. Aren't you glad that Sibo is willing to be a star and willing to be all look at me, look at me? And she was like, oh, yeah, I guess so. So I had an aha moment basically delivering one to her because it formed in my mind then. It's like,
Always have.
you have to be willing to be a star. Like, don't think that it's out of vanity that we decide not to be, that we decide to hide ourselves. Like, I don't want to be perceived as a show off or as a blowhard or as an a-hole.
So kind of
So I
like,
won't.
who do you think you are to say that you're being a show off or an a-hole when
Exactly.
what you're
Exactly. We're afraid, right? We're afraid of people saying, who do you think you are?
Mhm.
And that's why we hide our greatness
Mhm.
from them. So it's really selfish to
Yeah, it's
not be a
kind of ego.
star.
It's not
Yeah.
I'm the best. It's I'm deciding whether I'm good or not, and I'm depriving others from the chance to experience it. So
Yes,
really
exactly.
yeah, that's such a great reframe. Because I work with so many people that do that. They're like, oh, I don't want to be a show off. I don't want to be too big for my britches, to sound
Right.
very southern. So and
Exactly.
yeah, and but people need to find you.
People
So
need to find you. They need to see you. You need to give them the gift of being inspired by you or learning from you or admiring you. Like,
mm,
think of anybody you follow, love, who's read,
mm,
are a fan of Stan um, out there, and imagine if they had decided, I don't want to be all like, look at me, look at me. What if, Taylor Swift had said back when, or before, but back when Kanye grabbed her mic, what if she had decided then and there, like, ugh, this is like, I feel like a loser. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go back into hiding. Um, she would have
tragedy.
tragedy. look at the millions and millions of people who live for her music, who have it all memorized, who turn to it in times of comfort. I
I
mean,
know
when they need
about
comfort,
what you're
times of
talking
despair.
about. It's so my comfort music lately. I'm thinking of a question for you, Laura, that I hadn't thought about asking before, but it's just coming to me right now. And I don't know, I'm just going to blurt it out. But as you are more visible and you have more reach and your reputation, you're an author, people are loving what you're reading. And I would imagine you're encountering more and more people who are sort of intimidated to meet you or to be talking to you. I mean, I've even had moments. I'm at your apartment. I'm like, I'm talking to Laura Belgray, and I was like, oh, that's such a big deal. And I'm also like, and I'm just enjoying talking to my friend slash mentor. That has that. I remember people posting pictures of your bathroom on
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram. I was like, that's got to be a little strange. Um, I don't even know what the question is, except like, what's that been like for you? Is that something like, has that affected how you, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going. Like, talk about that.
It's
Just
yeah, no, it's a joy to me. I feel like it's something that it's not accidental.
mhm.
Like I wanted to be business famous.
Mm.
And it's the best kind of fame. I can go to the grocery store looking like total crap, which I do, by the way. And I I do hope nobody bumps into me. But I can go to the grocery store looking like crap, and paparazzi aren't gonna post, send pictures of me to the Inquirer saying like Laura Belgray has let herself go. Um, but but at the same, so I have the freedom and privacy to do that, but then I also have the incredible privilege of people knowing who I am and um, paying to learn from me and really like paying me a great living for being myself and doing what I do. And it's such an honor to have anybody know who I am before we've ever met. Like I love it. It's incredible. I don't want anyone to be intimidated by me or feel like they're not at the same level as me. It's not about that. It's not like I'm up here and anyone's down here. It's just um
Get to
it
be
is
Deb Fishbone, the mean girl.
right. Exactly. I don't ever want to be Deb Fishbone, chapter one of Tough Titties. But I love it when I have like a great reputation with people and it precedes me and they know who I am and tell me that my work has had an impact on them. That it's something that keeps me going and makes me, because sometimes we all need a reminder sometimes that of, oh yeah, this is why I do what I do. Sometimes it just gets to be a drag. There are days when you don't believe in yourself, when you're like, ugh, why am I doing this? Nobody cares. Who cares? And then somebody will say, like, oh, I learned about you from so and so. I love your work so much, or here's what you taught me, or anything like that. And you're like, oh my God, I had an impact on somebody. That's incredible. And then you're motivated again.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. And it really, I think one of the things that really comes across about you, Laura, is how much fun you're having.
Thank you.
You really see, I mean, yes, as an entrepreneur, we all have those moments where we're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm going to go be a
Yep.
housekeeper, whatever. But you're enjoying it clearly. And
Yeah.
you sort of, you inspire others to have fun with it. And I love that.
Yeah, it is. It's very inspiring when we see people having fun doing their work, right? It's like, that's what I want from my work. I want to have fun with it. And it's
Mhm.
not always that way. And now that I've been doing it for like 15 years, I've had my own business. And the landscape changes a little bit. I'm like, ugh. I have moments of like, oh God, I thought I could do this for the rest of my life, but now I'm like, some days I have dreams of winning Powerball and just, you know, going away. But then there are moments like this where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm doing this for a living. I mean, this isn't a paid Zoom, but it's super fun and it's part of what I do. And it's like peripheral. And yeah, so I do have fun. And it is inspiring to see somebody have fun with what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for being here. And is there, you mentioned at the beginning, but let's give people a chance to know how to find you or learn more about you or read your book. How do
Yeah.
people find you?
Okay, you can find it all at talkingshrimp.com. You will see in the nav bar tabs for freebies and resources. I've got a bunch of freebies for writing emails that get opened for, yeah. I
Very
have
generous with your
courses.
freebies. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, like, one of my freebies is called Story Goldmine, and it's 63 surprising places to mine your everyday life for stories that sell. So if you're ever out of ideas, like I don't have any ideas of anything to say today, that will help you. It's a lifesaver. And you'll find my book there. You'll find it all there. So come get on my list, grab a freebie, and let's hang.
Yay. Thank you so much, Laura. I really
Thank
appreciate it. And
you.
thanks for making this, you've helped make this fun for me.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
yeah. And this was really, you've given a lot of really good nuggets to think about. So I really appreciate you being here. And thanks for being part of my brain trust.
Thank you for including me in it. Love it. Thanks, Jane.